Welcome back to the cosasverdes altcoin crypto trading show. For new viewers, what this channel does is it helps you supplement all the other videos from YouTubers that you're watching on these up and coming big mover coins like Solana, Terra, Luna, Dogecoin. So this channel helps you gain a little bit more statistical knowledge of what's going to happen with a statistical likelihood when you're clicking around with your money, as opposed to just knowing what the project's doing. Because what's the point in knowing what a project's doing if you're not going to maximize your gains from it? So this channel is for folks who are not making 20 trades a day glued to the computer 12 hours a day, rather the average crypto investor who would like to incorporate a little bit of trading without a massive time commitment to maximize their crypto journey in terms of their profitability. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and stop, drop, do what the sign says. You're subscribing if you're new, or returning viewers hitting like. It's going to help me continue producing new content as we move forward. So take a quick second, stop, drop, do what the sign says, and we'll get after it. Always have a hard time making that stupid thing turn off. All right, so let's start off with Solana here. So I have drawn in origin lines. If these lines seem appealing to you, they come from me. I did them myself. I regularly provide the exact data points of these lines to my Patreon and Discord community. There are links to that if you want to check that out down below, what that community is like. So I might get a lot of comments. Where do those lines come from? Well, they came from me, and they work. And I'm going to show you with Solana how they work. So the interesting thing with Solana, I'm going to go ahead and take this one origin line, make it a little thicker, and make it white. Okay. And you can see here how this origin line has interacted with price throughout time. So Solana started off really hot. Maybe, even though $3 compared to $162 is not considered overvalued. However, it started off very high on this chart, right? So it came down, busted through that white line, used it as resistance, spent time, in the crypto winter, actually going down as Bitcoin was going up. And then it started racing up. Used this white line as resistance, used it as resistance again, broke through, came back down, used it as support, bounced off, broke below it, and finally, after a long consolidation period, which it really did put in its time. I mean, that might be part of the reason why this explosion is so good. It put in 70 days of sideways and down movement, and now what's happening? That same white line is your resistance currently. So what's going to happen now? Clearly, everything's going to rely on Bitcoin price action. So if you need to check out Bitcoin price action to better guide you in your altcoin decision making, go ahead and check out the YouTube videos that I make on Bitcoin, Cardano, and Ethereum, essentially the market leaders. And you really need those analyses in order to deal with these cryptos as well. Even if something's moving against Bitcoin, you need to be up to date with charting and technical analysis of Bitcoin. So everything depends, it's roughly going to depend on Bitcoin. But what is this chart saying alone? Well, this origin line right here was previous resistance, previous resistance, previous resistance, resistance. So, as most of cryptilians and crypto crackheads know, previous resistance becomes future support. So, this line going to current date might actually act as support. And so, what I could see happening here is perhaps a few wicks below, which on a daily chart of Solana, it actually is wicking below. But Solana price might just consolidate between these two lines, similar to what Cardano is doing now. Per my recent video where I showed the exact same thing, it might just go upward and sideways, and maybe squeak out close to all-time highs around 230 along the way. I have a scare down to this line and a quick wick up, but I would say general price action will stay between these two lines. And if this dotted line hit, and it's not a horizontal, so it's not just one price. For example, if Solana were to hit that dashed line, um, let's say tomorrow, that would be $131. But if it came to hit it, in about 10 days, that'd be $150, which is barely under current price, right? So Solana might do something like this, dip down, and then come back and spend most of its time along the support line and mostly wicking up to here and wicking down to this dash line. That's what I would fully expect out of Solana because it's blue sky breakouts. There's not a lot of price history to the left of here on a horizontal basis. There's nothing here. So origin lines are going to be the best way to navigate price action. And so what might end up happening is something fairly similar. If I could take a fractal here, price action might end up being pretty similar. So you can see here that price action would come down here, and it might actually consolidate longer than that fractal, but honestly, the origin lines are making guesses, a statistical, have giving you a statistical edge. It's making, I don't know, it's making the work a lot easier because they're not horizontal lines. So that's what I would fully suspect Solana is going to do. It's going to consolidate, moving upwards and sideways. Nothing fancy, and it might take 2 to 3 weeks to break out. It could end up forming some type of triangle potentially, or a triangle down to the dash line. Something like this could end up happening. Dash line, boom, 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 break out. And then you could actually form a second triangle that it fills out and then breaks out. It's closer to October. So you could be looking at, a double triangle type of situation, a forwards triangle then a backwards triangle. So if you want me to draw that out, something that could end up developing here could be something to this effect. And once it hits that dash line, then what you might have going on is something possibly to that effect. Let's make that a color. So you could get that type of play on Solana potentially. But in all, instead of playing triangles and patterns, it's just Solana moving in these origin lines. Like so, wick down to here, upper resistance, and until it breaks this line, that's when it's going to bust out. Solana's not going to go and run until it gets above this line. And it's probably going to test it several times. So that's what you can, it just makes it easier than even looking at triangles, right? So that's what we got for Solana. Now, let's go to Fantom next. Phantom, I haven't gone through the due diligence to make as many origin lines, but if you want to see roughly how I do it here, it looks like I need some intermediate lines like the dashed ones. Go ahead and make this. These lines are, I need to change the color. So this is kind of how I do it. Make them all like so they don't stand out and make price action harder to read. I use the gray that is just above the blue color, above the blue. I pick, that's how I set up the charts. And again, if this stuff looks good and you have your own favorite altcoins, or outside of here, I do this for my community quite regularly. All right, so intermediate. Let's do one more intermediate line here for. Yep, it gets a lot of this. So you can see this most recent one that I drew in. I mean, just look at how it plays with price. Let me zoom way in here. So the dotted line that I just drew in got this price action, got that price action, got support here. So resistance, resistance, support. Almost came to wick blow. All the support, resistance, all this. So you see how perfectly this Fantom just moved between these two origin lines. It wasn't moving between horizontals. It was moving between origin lines, like so. That and so similar to Solana might end up doing something just like this, and it won't get the move until it's above the line. That makes sense. Exactly how Fantom did not go on a big move until it broke the origin line, and then when it broke, after it broke above it, it said, "Hey, I need to come down and retest it." Boom, retested it. Second time came back and retested it, actually failed, and then used it as resistance, and then kept heading down. All right, so that is the basis of these origin lines. So let's zoom into what we got going on right here. And we are on the daily chart on Fantom. So you had essentially, I would consider this not a resistance. I would say this price action is a wick above this dotted line. So I would fully expect Fantom to come back down to roughly the dollar area to hit this line. Okay. I don't know if there is a second intermediate line here, which honestly there sort of is. Might not have. Yep. So what it's coming down and basing on right now is I'm going to make this line white and thicker so you can see previous price action on it. So it's coming down and hitting this line, which got this price action here, the wicks up here, previous price action, Got this big resistance there. Got support, resistance there. I wouldn't consider this a huge line. It doesn't get a lot of price action, therefore I don't know if this has a decent chance of holding price up. So I would say that there's a slightly over 50% chance that Fantom needs to come down and test this line, which would be similar to a horizontal of the most recent local high around $1. So it looks like Fantom, assuming Bitcoin doesn't just explode here shortly, it looks like Fantom with no EMAs, nothing, just using origin lines today because they work. They just work over and over and over and over again. Um, my best guess would be it comes down, rides this line, and then fills out some area here. Then after might not take that, fill out some range, and then come back up. Eh, Actually, it's probably going to come back and rest on this before it tests this upper line because it really didn't test it here. It was more of a test of this line over. So most in the next 20 days of Fantom, I would expect Fantom to move something similar to here. Okay, so I'm going to make a more appropriate looking guess. Something. I would guess Fantom until middle October is maybe not quite this high. Something to that effect. And this would be my lower end target around $1. Now, if it hits that line a little later, that'd be $1.06. If it hits a little sooner, that'd be 99 cents, right? Under $1. So it depends on when it'll hit it, but I think it'll hit that line. It looks like it's really going to gravitate the line, which might also line up with horizontal. It'll probably wick past. Yep, it's probably going to wick. Hit this horizontal. And make the horizontal thicker, wider. Yep. So I think honestly, that looks pretty probable to happen. I don't see Fantom really busting above this line that it wicked above anytime soon until it consolidates. I think in order to bust above this line to test this line more fully, it needs to base out and consolidate, fill out this range before making it. So essentially, it's making a foundation for itself in this price action, or it can get more oomph to fully break above there to test the next line, and maybe even break above that. So that's what I got for Fantom. Let's go to Terra or Luna. Let's make the color less annoying. All right. So Terra is between. I'm going to make these lines a little whiter so we know that that's what price action is hitting. So I would bet that Luna stays between those lines. So you can see that this a lot of price action was during this time. I mean, this was days and days. Let's see here. 68 days of price action was completely between. So what's happening here is Luna is gravitating back towards that, trying to fill this channel out to make it a base. Because it didn't make it a base here, just crashed through it after failing the support line. It's probably gonna. It's like it's just gonna fill. So let's make it a little bit more. Zoom in to see this. Yep, and it's playing around with this horizontal. So it already came back down to test that previous local high. I don't think it'll do it again. I think Luna is going to mostly stay between these lines until Bitcoin breaks out. Just you're probably going to get choppy price action. I think that's all that's going to happen. It's going to be pretty similar to what happened back. When did the move really happen? When it broke above this line, and that's what's going to happen again. But it's probably going to have to consolidate a little bit longer, perhaps more like this. They had 70 days. Now it won't look as sloppy as that because it was a smaller asset then, trading at half the now 65 days of movement. I mean, you might just actually double this. and then before it breaks out. And it's pointing to mid-October as well, just like a bunch of other assets. So my guess is pretty simple. I think they're all going to move pretty similarly. Which is the power of the boss lines, the origin line. And again, origin lines pretty much originated on my channel. So I coined that word, I believe. So actually, you know what? I did not coin that. I got that off of. I need to credit the right person who came with that word. He didn't use them the same way, so these still came up through my channel. It was Tone Vase. He's a sequential trader. Very interesting way to trade. Totally different. There aren't many sequential traders out there. It was actually him. Me watching him like in 2017 when Bitcoin was around. It was around 9K when he said that. So anyway, but I didn't coin that word. But anyway, these lines they do originate, no pun intended, or pun intended actually, on my channel. So again, if this is the stuff you're into and you have specific coins you like for me to do this, you can jump on the live chat. Actually on the Discord community, I think it is available for everyone to see the live chat schedule, so you can figure out, hey, does this guy actually chat with us enough live? And it's not like a YouTube live chat. It is a you can share your screen and talk to me face to face. Not physically face to face, but you see my face, I see your face, you ask me a question. You don't have to type, right? And you don't have to pay me $5 to get my attention. So that's the benefits of being there. But honestly, price action here, I think everything's going to consolidate going up and sideways for quite some time, for about 3 to 4 weeks until Bitcoin and Ethereum, particularly Ethereum. See my other video that I just made. Until when Ethereum breaks, I think these will break. And I think they're all just waiting on Bitcoin to make up its mind. I think that's what's happening right now. But honestly, this is very so. What all three of these coins are doing, it's very, very healthy consolidation. This is not a sign of weakness, even though it might be down 20%, in a week. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, even a 30% drop, that is still healthy. Filling out this range before a big move up to try to get back to this line where it hit here, this origin line. I mean, the longer the better. Really. I mean, it could spend 80, 110 days in here easily. 80, yeah, it could easily spend until November, but I would still guess middle of October. So actually, let me guess. What we got? All right. So if you liked what you saw, again, go ahead and take a quick second. Subscribe if you're new, but if you're returning, please hit the like button and leave me a comment down below of what you think price action is going to do. And if you think these origin lines are a bunch of crap, let me know. I mean, I like to hear your thoughts. As long as you don't talk about my mom or something like that, it's okay. You can call me a heathen, a mouth breather, a country hick with my Bitcoin camo hat on, and American flag. Be cool if it was like an American Bitcoin flag. But leave me a comment below. They don't have to be nice. If you really think what I'm doing here is a bunch of crap, just let me know. And then and maybe if you were to ever join my lower tier community to chat with me, and you would see how it works. And over time, really, a lot of my community members, there are people who at first thought I was full of crap, and then what I said played out. Particularly like BPro and MTV and all that kind of stuff. A lot of these altcoins that went on massive rallies, or even Dogecoin dropping exactly when I said it and how I said it was going to drop. So a lot of folks become believers, but first they're skeptics and think I'm full of crap, and I totally get it. This stuff is unbelievable, and sometimes it's just with time after seeing my analysis they realize, oh wait, there was something to it. So don't hesitate to leave me non-positive, as long as you don't talk about my mom or my ducks, my B Pro ducks. Don't talk about my ducks. And then we'll see y'all later.